Premier of Ontario. She was elected to the Ontario Legislature in 2003. She also represents the riding of Don Valley West, and she served as the Minister of Agriculture, Food, Rural Affairs, Minister of Municipal Affairs, Aboriginal Affairs, Minister of Transportation, and ironically enough, the Minister of Education. And it's so great to have you here, Premier, to share some good news with our community. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And, I want to thank everybody for being here as well. It's really, it's great to be back. Uh-oh, I shouldn't touch that. It's great to be back in Sault Ste. Marie. And I didn't tell you guys, but for me, from a very early age, Sault Ste. Marie was about education. And the reason is that, let me just hold this. There. The reason is that my grandmother taught school here in the 1920s. And I had the opportunity to visit the school, and I was trying to get the picture. It's the technical school now. But she taught here, and we found actually a record of her. Her name was Eva Crummer, and we found a record of where she lived when she was here. She was a single woman in 1921, and so from a very early age, I connected education with Sault Ste. Marie. So it's a pleasure to be back here, and of course our member for Sault Ste. Marie, who is a hard-working politician, is a teacher as well. So. All about education, and I just want to say also that the reason I got involved in provincial politics was to work on education, because I felt very strongly that what was happening in education at the time that I was running in 2002, 2003, I felt very strongly that we were on the wrong path in this province, and that we needed a new government that was going to change the relationship. And so my political career as a provincial politician has been grounded in the importance of education. And so it's a real pleasure to be here. And I'm going to do something that I do when I speak wherever I am in the province, and that is to show respect for the history and the contributions of Indigenous people, and acknowledge that we're gathered on the traditional and sacred territory of the Anishinaabe peoples in the Robinson-Huron Treaty area. And I want to recognize the neighboring communities of the Ojibwe of Batchewana and the Ojibways of Garden River, and the long history of First Nation and Métis in Ontario. And I do that because part of what we are trying to do as a government and in our education system is rewrite that story that has not been a good story necessarily of the relationship with our First Nation people. So it's a thrill to be here. Lucia, thank you very much for making the time to be here today, and to Marg and Sue and all of the other people who are here who I haven't met yet. I hope I'll have a chance to meet you before I leave. But thank you for making Northern Heights the great school that it is. The stories we heard from these young people, your ambassadors, about the lunch program, about the breakfast program, about the way the playground has developed, the garden, the activities on the playground, the way kids are included, all of those things point to what a terrific school this is. So thank you very much. So this is the third day in my week-long return to the north, and I'm going to be visiting more than a dozen communities. I think I'm visiting 18 communities as we go through Northern Ontario, and I know that the Algoma District School Board has been working hard to get Northern Heights ready for the new school year, so we're very happy that we were able to make this stop in our tour. Now, it's a little quiet here today. We've only got 5 students here, but it's going to get very busy in a month or so, and so it's great news that the renovations here are ahead of schedule. That's awesome. Fingers crossed. I don't want to jinx it, but it's great to see that work happening. You know, young people spend so much of their time in school buildings that we need to make sure that they are safe, that they're bright, that they're clean, as some of the kids were saying earlier. We want them to be places that inspire learning, that are designed so that they facilitate learning, not that they get in the way of learning, and that we can all be proud of, because schools are important centers of communities, and so we want to make sure that those buildings are the best that they can be, and that they're places where our children can succeed. And this is one of my most important jobs as Premier, ensuring that everyone is in a place where they can succeed. And if I go back to my motivation for getting involved in provincial politics, education at the core of that, and a very important part of that is the physical space that kids are in. And people across Ontario need support so that they can reach their full potential. If we're going to be the best that we can be as a province, we need to make sure that every young person has the opportunity to fulfill their potential. And in fact, I was at Contact North today in, where was I? I was in Elliott Lake. I was going to say Espanola, but it was Elliott Lake. And that's the danger with stopping in so many places. But it was a great visit to Contact North. And so that was about adult learners being able to find their way back into the system or get the support that they need to get their education. So that is why our government is making the largest infrastructure investment in our province's history. $160 billion over 12 years. We need every community and every person to have the opportunity to be at their best. We're building roads and bridges and transit. We're building hospitals and schools right here in Northern Ontario and across the province. But it's not enough just to build new infrastructure. It is great to build new schools, and that has very much been part of what we're doing. But we also know that existing infrastructure, existing buildings, existing roads, existing bridges, they need upkeep. The reality is that half of public schools in Ontario are more than 40 years old. So that means they're getting creaky. And so they need to be upgraded. And what was a state-of-the-art school 40 years ago is not a state-of-the-art school now. And so that means that the action that needs to be taken is clear. We need the money to make those upgrades. We've heard this from parents. We've heard it from community members concerned about the state of schools in their communities. They use schools on off hours, and they see the state of the schools, and they've made their concerns heard, and I share those concerns.